There was a very interesting presentation on meningeal inflammation and meningeal lymphoid-like structures or follicles, because there's been some debate about whether they truly exist or not. They do exist. It's not unique to MS. You can find them in any chronic inflammatory conditions, and they actually made some molecular connections. Apparently, tumor necrosis factor, TNF, and TNF receptor signaling genes are upregulated, and NF-kappa beta genes are downregulated, which would be kind of a neuroprotective property associated with this meningeal inflammation and lymphoid follicles. And in particular, the secondary progressive cohort seems to show the follicles. So that was quite interesting. We had some new information that spinal cord atrophy in MS is about 2% a year. That's way more than in the brain. That was quite interesting. There was a nice study from Britain that suggested that a degree of brain atrophy measurements is greater in progressive than in relapsing MS, greater in relapsing than in clinically isolated syndrome. And deep gray matter nuclei seem to be the key target for a loss of tissue volume for brain atrophy. So that may be a very important marker. There's a great interest in oral, and as you probably know, we have 3 approved oral agents, fingolimod, teriflunomide, and dimethylfumarate already, but they're all for relapsing forms of MS. We are continuing to develop refinements of oral agents. There are a whole bunch of second-generation S1P receptors that are being looked at and developed, kind of trying to improve on the first class of oral agents. There's a second-generation dimethylfumarate that's being studied as well. So people like oral, and yes, there may be oral CNS repair strategies, and there may be oral progressive strategies. Tomorrow we're going to hear the exciting results of the phase 3 secondary progressive trial with regard to a second-generation fingolimod S1P receptor modulator, or siponimod, that's reported to have met its primary outcome in slowing confirmed progression. So we're very excited by that, and we're waiting to hear. And then there were a number of presentations on NEDA, no evidence of disease activity. This, to me, we're getting a confusing message. People are saying that's a great thing to think about, to have a treat to target, but you can't go by NEDA. It's too high a bar to meet. And they're actually talking about MEDA, M-E-D-A, minimal evidence of disease activity, as being the much more realistic treat to target. So we're hearing that having one attack in isolation or having a few lesions form on the MRI scan doesn't portend a failure or doing badly in the next couple of years. So a bit of conflicting data on that, but hopefully this is going to, in the long run, give us more information about what our treatment target should be. Well, I think you now have 2 phase 3 progressive trials that met their primary outcome. The first in primary progressive MS, ocrelizumab. We're waiting to hear. We're going to hear whether that's going to be approved by the end of December in the United States. And then this phase 3 secondary progressive trial with an oral agent, siponimod, reported to have met its primary outcome in slowing progression. So that's very exciting. We have 2 major pivotal positive phase 3 trials now for both forms of progressive MS. That's extremely exciting, and we'll wait to hear what happens, but that's very optimistic. I think we're beginning to dig deeper into large patient registries to get a better handle on what happens with MS and predictive factors for people on treatment, when we should think about making a change. I think we're getting a better handle on that. We are getting new pathogenetic insights. There are exciting studies on the gut microbiome. That's a developing area, so that's extremely exciting. More information on the neuropathophysiology of MS that's even being presented at this meeting as we speak. So I think it's an explosion of knowledge. I think we're learning more and more. We just need to put the pieces together properly. Well, I think we may have the first approved treatment for progressive MS. That's a huge milestone. A huge milestone with more to come beyond that.